Long, long ago, in the golden sands of Egypt, there lived a boy who became a king, Tutankhamun. For thousands of years, his story slept beneath the desert, hidden in a secret tomb. Then, one day in 1922, explorers brushed away the dust of time, and light touched Tut's world again. Now, we can walk beside him to see what a single day was like for the little pharaoh who became a legend. The morning sun rose over the Nile, painting the palace in soft gold. Little Tutankhamun stirred beneath his linen sheets, his tiny scarab charm warm against his chest. "Good morning, Ra," he whispered to the sun god. "I'll try my best today." Outside, birds sang and the river sparkled. It was a brand new day for Egypt's little pharaoh. Before Tut could even stretch again, a small merp sounded. His cat Miu had jumped on his bed. She gave him a look that clearly meant, "Time to get up." Tut giggled. All right, I'm awake." Miu purred proudly as Tut slipped on his sandals. Well, the wrong feet first, but she didn't mind. In the courtyard, the morning breeze smelled of honey bread and figs. Tut sat with his mother, who smiled as he tried to balance a date on his spoon. "Patience, little one," she said. "Even kings must learn not to hurry." Tut nodded, munching happily. "Then I'll be the slowest, best king ever." After breakfast, Tut sat in a room with the royal scribe. "This," said the teacher, "is an owl. It means the sound M." Tut squinted at his drawing. It looked more like a potato with ears. He laughed and tried again. Better this time. Later, Vizier I, the wise old helper, brought villagers to meet Tut. They spoke of the Nile washing away their fields. Tut listened carefully, just as I had taught him. Then he stood tall. "We will help rebuild the banks," he said, "and I will come see myself." The people bowed, smiling. Even little Miu purred with pride. After his lessons, Tut tiptoed out to the palace garden. The air smelled of flowers and the Nile breeze. His friend Himi waited by the pond, tossing pebbles into the water. "Race you to the papyrus patch," he called. They ran, laughing, as dragonflies buzzed like tiny emeralds. Miu chased after them, her tail high. "Look," Hemi pointed. Something long and scaly drifted near the edge of the water. Tut froze. "A crocodile." Miu hissed bravely, but when the thing bumped against a rock, it rolled over. "A floating log." The boys burst out laughing. "Maybe not a crocodile today," Tut said, "but let's stay ready." Back in the palace, Tut found the armor room, filled with shining gold and bronze. Outside, horses snorted and stomped in the bright sun. Tut's tiny chariot gleamed like the morning itself. "Ready, Majesty?" asked the stable master. Tut nodded bravely and held the reins tight. The horses trotted forward, slow, careful, steady. Then they began to run fast. He felt the wind in his hair. "I'm flying!" he laughed. By midday, Tut and his mother sat under a shady canopy for lunch. Bowls of lentils, cucumbers, and fresh bread filled the table. After lunch, Tut had to study again, numbers this time. He stared at the tablet and groaned. "I don't want to learn! I want to play!" he shouted, tossing his brush down. Miu leapt off the table with a meow of surprise. When Tut finished his lesson, Nurse Maya handed him a tiny scarab charm. "This beetle," she said, "rolls the sun each morning across the sky." Tut wandered into a tall, cool hall lined with statues of old kings. Their eyes seemed to follow him. He looked up at one giant statue and whispered, "Were you really as brave as they say?" For a moment, it felt like the stone lips curved into a smile. "Bravery," a soft voice seemed to echo, "is doing what is right, even when it is small." Tut's eyes widened. Or maybe it was just the wind. Tut stepped closer to the statue, clutching his scarab. "I promise I'll try to be a good pharaoh," he whispered. one who listens, helps, and learns. The air felt warm, like the sun was nodding. Miyu purred beside him. "See," she seemed to say, "you're already learning." Suddenly, the sky darkened. A hot wind howled through the palace. Sand swirled like gold dust in the air. Tut ran to the window. The desert was roaring. "Stay inside," Nurse Maya called. Tut held his amulet tightly and whispered, "Ra, please come back soon." After the storm, the palace garden was a mess. Papyrus plants bent low, and flower petals scattered like confetti. Tut ran outside to help. "Don't worry," he called. "We can fix this together." He held up each plant carefully while the gardeners tied them upright again. Mew pawed at a fallen lotus, batting it back into the pond. Tut grinned. "See? Even the cat's helping." That afternoon, Toot visited the temple with his vizier. The tall columns were painted with bright colors that shimmered in the sun. He watched priests pour sweet oil and light incense that smelled of honey and myrrh. "What do you say to the gods, Ai?" Toot whispered. I smiled. "We thank them, always. Gratitude is the start of wisdom." Toot nodded, closing his eyes. "Thank you, Ra," he murmured. When they returned, music floated through the halls. Drums thumped, flutes sang, and servants twirled with joy. Tut clapped along and laughed when Mew tried to chase the jingling anklets. "Come, little Pharaoh," one dancer said, and soon Tut was spinning too, dizzy with laughter. The palace felt alive again, full of smiles after the storm. That evening, back in the temple, Tut helped prepare an offering to the gods. Baskets of bread, fruit, and flowers. He placed a loaf beside the statue of Ra. "Thank you for the sun," he whispered. Then he put another beside the statue of Hapi, the Nile god. "And thank you for the river." Miyu sniffed a basket of figs. "Not for you," Tut giggled. Night wrapped the palace in silver light. Outside, the stars shimmered above the desert, bright and endless. Tut opened one sleepy eye and whispered, "Good night, Ra. Thank you for today." The stars twinkled, as if winking back. And so, as the stars guard Egypt's dreams, little Tutankhamun wake up, his golden scarab glowing softly by his heart. Tomorrow, he'll rise again with the sun, to learn, to laugh, to lead with kindness. For though his time was long ago, the light of his story still shines, forever young, forever bright.